Let's start this one with this preset. I double click on this preset and hitting play button to see what's the movement inside of the presets. It includes a 3D shape and text and movement. You can then adjust the movement. Just select the object, delete it, add a new object from different tool on the left side. You can choose the shape you want to add and then double click on it or drag it with the mouse, then you draw it, or just press on the S button, allow you to choose from different presets. You can see different shapes you can choose from them. Just double click on any shape or scroll down on the line on the bar. This bar, traffic bar, allow you to choose from different SVG presets, or you can download whatever type you need from Google. I can scroll down and see different shapes to choose between them. You can choose different shape, what you need for your project, or create your own. Let's say I will scroll down in this chart. Let's sport, scroll down to see different shape, give an overview of general idea of what I will need to work in my project. Let's say I will scroll down to see different shapes, different one, try to use them, try to add modification. Let's say I will choose this plane and hit OK. Drag it, draw it, allow some different modifications, scrolling, increase its size, increase its depth. Let's put it here on the left side, adding a new keyframe to save this position, add the second 0. Let's say I will go to the 5 seconds and add new modifications, so I will add a movement. When I move it, let's say right here, add some rotation, drag it like here, then add a new keyframe. Then I will go to the 9 seconds and add in some modification in the position, add some rotation, scaling. Let's put it down here, move it to the left, and hitting a new keyframe. After hitting a new keyframe, if you play button, you can see it move from the first point you've added, to the second and to the third point you've added a keyframe. Wherever you want to add a keyframe, save the position. It will start to move. You can also edit the color of the shape. Also, you can edit the color with the movement. Let's say I will change the core body of the shape to this color right here. Let's say add some modification of the bevel, increase this bevel with this tool, increase the size with this tool. You can adjust the shape wherever you need. This increase the depth and this increase the bevel. And then change the color of the sides of the shape and the sides of the bevel. Let's say I will change the texture also. You can choose different texture presets or add your own by multi-texture. You can choose texture 1, texture 2, texture 3, add a gradient, you can choose different color, add layer over layer over layer. You can adjust some culling, reflection, mirror. It allows you adjust some modification of the texture, or you can adjust transform of the textures like rotate 90 degree. I will go to text if I had text inside of it, or you can return to the shape, add a new texture, try them all to choose between them. You can add transformation of the texture like this one here, horizontal scale, and you also add reflection, add mirror. You can also add animation of the texture inside the shape. Let's say I will choose vertical scroll hub. You can see texture move inside of the shape. It's a movement away from the movement of the shape. It's the movement of the texture inside of the shape. Also, you can add some rotation, some adjustment of the place. Let's say I will put it down here. Add some rotation, add some color, add the bevel. Double click and add a text inside. Let's say I will press 11. You can see the text is inside of the shape. Also, you can add a new color for the text which is inside of the shape. Add a color for the bevel of the text. It's the border of the text. You also adjust the texture of the text inside of the shape. Let's say I'll choose vertical scroll half. And let's say I will change the color of the text and the transformation of the texture of the text. Let's say I give it reflection, give it mirror, give it animation. Let's say vertical scroll up. You can see movement of the texture of the shape. Let's say double click and delete this. Let's delete this and write on the English. Let's say tutorial 11 and let's press OK. I will choose the font, scrolling down to different font, and change this one to, let's say I will choose this font like this one, this one. And let's say I will change the color of the text, the color of the bevel of the text. Let's say I will choose this one here. I will choose this color. Let's give it texture, multi-texture. Let's give it transform. Let's vertical scroll half. Let's horizontal scroll half. Close this one first, add reflection, add mirror, and adding a new animation of the texture. Adding close. And remember to add an animation. Animation gives a movement for the text. Let's say I will add a new keyframe. Let's say I will start the movement of the texture away from this one. Let's make it away. And let's put it down here. Let's say I will hit play button to see what's an animation look like. I will just give it a new color for the size of the shape. Let's say I will give it texture also, add some transformation. Let's say give it an animation and close this one. Let's add reflection and mirror and just hidden and add a new keyframe. You saved the color and at that point. Let's give it an animation. Let's hit play button. You can see the movement of the shape and the movement of the texture also with the movement of the text you've added, changing the color of the object with the timeline. Any point you've added a keyframe, it will be represented by a red note on the timeline. Any point will allow you movement will be added with a red note. Each red node represents a keyframe you've added. Let's say I will change the alpha. The alpha is the opacity of the object. Let's say I will add a new keyframe like here. And let's say I will need to add a new keyframe at this second or this second. You just move the timeline. Let's say I will double click and add a new text like lesson 11. Let's hit OK. I change this text. Let's change the font first. I will scroll down to choose this one like here, or change the size, change the editing on the text, like I will change this font. It's more easy to change the font. Choose different set. Let's say I will give it a color. Let's choose this one. This is for the shape. Remember to choose the panel of the text before you change the color, and give it a bevel. Let's also choose the panel of the bevel. Increase the bevel from this panel. These bevels are for the shape. If you want to change bevel of the text, just press text and then choose your bevel. You can then save your keyframe at this second. Double click and delete this and just give demo. Yes, okay. Let's change the font. Let's say I will choose this one and give it a bevel. Let's say like this one here. Increase the bevel thickness. This will allow you to adjust the bevel of the text. It's like a shortcut. Also, you can find it on the right side. Let's say I will choose this bevel, give it a color. Let's choose this one like here. Let's change this one, give it a texture. Remember to choose your texture, give it a transform. Let's say rotation 9 degree. Let's give it animation. Also vertical scroll half. Let's say I'll give it reflection, mirror, and remember to press the green plus button to save it. Let's decrease the thickness. Let's rotate and make my keyframe. This keyframe is the 4th second. Let's say I want to start it from here. It will change the color over time on the timeline. Let's give it an alpha. Alpha is the opacity if I want to decrease its appearance. Let's say I will move it like at this point. Let's say I will give it a texture. Let's say I will give new color and color also for the bevel. I choose this one, add in a new keyframe. This keyframe are saved at the second number 2. Let's hit play button. Then you can see the color of the text will change over time. You start from the point 0 where you added a color at that keyframe to the other point you've added a keyframe. Let's delete this one, double click and add my text. Let's say I will give it symbol demonstration, and let's hit OK. You can change also the font, scrolling down different fonts. Let's increase the depth, move it down here. Let's choose different color. I will give the outline, give color for the text itself. Let's choose different texture, and you can see you've added new texture or increase this thickness, decrease it, allow you different modification. And when you choose your texture, you just give it animation. Let's say scroll half, and let's increase the alpha increase the opacity. If you want to change it over timeline, you can also control the opacity of the texture. Let's say I will increase the thickness of the bevel. Use this one, this tool right here, increase the thickness of the bevel itself. Let's give it a new color. Let's say I will choose this one. Let's say I will give it an animation like rotation. If you press this, it will rotate around itself. I will save and then have play button. You can see movement I've added. In the future, if you're working on a larger project, remember to press Ctrl S and save. At the second number 6, you can add new modification of the positions. I will add new modification like moving here, saving this time frame, and move this, just select and move. Try to select it away from the other one, maybe overlapped over each other. You can choose this one, add new color for the text and color for the bevel outline. Let's say I will choose this one. Let's say I will change the animation from this panel. This panel allows the same movement you've added from animation menu. Just you control the value. You can decrease it down here, add a new keyframe, and you need to move to a different second, let's say second number 0. And I will make a new change on the animation. Let's give it a value of 98 and add in a new keyframe. If you hit play button, you can see the movement of appearance and disappearance that I have just added and added a new value. It will increase from the value of 0 to the value of 98. Animation by letter, let's say I will give it a pulse. Let's say I will give it a value of, let's say 0. 0 value is the 9 second. Let's move to the second, let's say second number 4. I will give it a new value. Let's just increase its size to allow you can see it. Let's move this here, this down here, increase its size, and give it a value of 100 and add in a new keyframe. Let's hit play button. Give it a color first, increase its alpha, hit play button, add in a new keyframe. Remember to add a new keyframe. When you make adjustment for the color, you need to press on the green plus button to save this keyframe. Just give it an animation, let's say rotate, and let's say I will add a new keyframe and hitting play button. You can see the movement you've just added as a rotation also changing the color with the timeline. The changes I have just made. Let's say I will scroll down, increase this one, give it some rotation, and make this adjustment, decrease the depth, move it down here. Let's move it down a little bit and just add a new keyframe. If you hit play button, you can see the movement you have adjusted. At any point, if you're stuck, just skip it and you may find it in a different video or even here in the same video repeated again. Make sure to save your progress by pressing Ctrl S, and if a mistake happened by accident, press Ctrl Z to move step back. Try to memorize the communication between tools and an interface. You may find some tools that doesn't make sense, just try the easiest one. Most of the time, we will repeat any other way we find.